As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And audience, I am so excited. Guess who we have in the studio? Look at this.
I'm back.
Crystal.
I'm back.
The Queen Bee is in the house. How you doing?
I had an awesome time, though. I was at the Power Network conference last week. Well, the first week was the kids. And we had the graduation for the the first session Biz Camp, which was absolutely fantastic. So we have our 3 winners who will be on the show sometime in August.
Good.
Before they go back to school. So we had our top winner was who won our first? I got
Obama.
Oh no, his name is Nigel. Yeah, Obama, little Obama. So when little Obama get back in town, we'll have him on the show. And I also had then we had Lucy. She came in today to pick up her check.
All right.
And then we had a young man. His name is Legend. And so Nigel's business was gaming tournaments, and Lucy's business is called Tutti Frutti, and it's a vegan or healthy food bakery restaurant. Yeah. And she's already taken orders, as she told me yesterday. And then Legend, he has a prototype for a shoe for those with a leg discrepancy.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that they're thinking like that.
Yeah, they were thinking like, so I wanted them to do something that was close and near to them. So Legend actually does have a as he calls it, a leg deficiency. So he leg length deficiency. So that's what he did. Yeah. And so he's now in startup camp. So that's part of the Nifty program, the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. Right. So I'm so proud of the 3 kids.
That is great.
Actually, I'm proud of all of them.
How many altogether in the class? About 19?
We had 21 kids.
Oh, wow. Class. That's more than last year. Last year, you had like 17, I think, right?
Well, no, we usually go for 25, but we have 2 sessions this year.
Wow.
So now I currently have 25 kids.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. So
you are cultivating these amazing entrepreneurs.
I'm cultivating newer entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And these kids are just amazing. So so when I came back from the conference, Monday, I was right on. Monday morning, I had to be there with the kids. So we got 25 kids. They're amazing. They should be tuning in to the show today.
Very good. And, well, kids, I hope you're all listening. Well, I don't want to call you kids. I want to call you young entrepreneurs.
Young entrepreneurs.
I hope you're all listening because you're going to get some real valuable information from us on the show today. Our topic today is coaching, business coaching.
Right, but before we get to that, we got to talk about the Power Network.
Okay, very good. Very good.
We talk about not meeting the type of businesses in people that look like us that are on a higher level.
Right.
Well, I spent 4 days with the most incredible people.
Wow.
It was just awesome. It was just awesome. These people are all about business. They have taken their businesses up to this level. I was sitting with millionaires and billionaires and people, and it's going to lead into our topic because one of the things that pretty much most of the vendors that were there, they were all business people and they were all coaches. Yeah. And each and every one of them, even the ones that were presenting and doing these amazing power talks, they all have had coaches and mentors and that's how they've elevated to that level.
That's great.
Yeah, so it was pretty awesome. But you know what, even before I got to that though, I went early. And so I spent, I went on July 2nd. So my cousin lives in Virginia.
Yeah.
So we went to the museum again, to the African American Museum, and spent a lot of time on the first floor, which is about slavery. And this time it wasn't a lot of people. And because my cousin is in the military, we kind of could just walk right on in and didn't have to have a pass or anything.
Right.
And so as we were going through and reading the information, and Oprah has a new exhibit there, and Emmett Till, there's a new exhibit for Emmett Till.
Yeah.
But when we left the museum, we went over to Frederick Douglass's house.
Really?
So his house is right outside.
Where is it, in Virginia?
It's in D.C. It's
DC.
in an area called Anacostia, and it sits up on a hill. And I mean, you just are blown away by the fact that one, he went to the White House or he went to the Capitol every single day.
Wow.
But Anacostia was probably about 8 to 10 miles from the Capitol.
Yeah.
And from his house, though, sitting up on top of a ridge, you could see the Lincoln Monument, and you could see. So it was like this, and it was spread out. So just like we're sitting here at the desk, right?
Yeah.
So on this side, he was born in Rochester, New York. So he was pointed that way, and then he lived when he was a slave in Richmond, Virginia.
Right.
And then now that he was in this house, and he bought this house for $6,700.
Wow.
This is in 1800s.
Wow.
And
that was a lot of money then.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he taught himself how to read. He was a slave, and they continued to try to break him, and he said, "No, you will never break me." And so the one overseer was determined he was going to break him, and so he got tired of it. This being Frederick Douglass, and he beat the guy to a pulp. And after that, the guy never put his hands on him again.
Wow.
And then years later, he met his wife, and his wife told him she was already freed, and her name was Anne. And so she said that I can't marry a slave, someone that's enslaved. But if you're willing to go for your freedom, then I will sell some stuff to help you get free.
Wow.
And so that's what happened. And so she went, and he went, and that's when he hooked up with Harriet Tubman, who became a lifelong friend of his.
So she helped him.
And she helped him go get free.
That's amazing.
And that's when he went to Rochester, actually. He was born in Richmond. And when he went to Rochester, and he brought her up there with him, and they had kids. They had 4 kids. And so this is the part that no one knows about Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, because he poor white kids.
Yeah.
He paid them to teach him how to read.
Wow.
And then he went
amazing.
Once he got his freedom, he went to London, and then he learned Shakespeare, and how he was a very cultured speaker. And so when he came back, he was in demand to speak. And so he spoke all over the country, all over the world, and he made this is in the 1800s, he made about $56,000 a year.
Wow, back then.
Back then, as a speaker.
Wow, so he was probably like a millionaire then, right?
Yeah.
With that kind of money.
And found out that he owned 13 pieces of property.
Wow.
And he died when he was 77. He walked every day to the Capitol. Wow. He lifted weights. So in his house, when his wife died, and she died of cancer, when his wife died, he remarried shortly thereafter. And this woman he married, she was part of the women's suffrage program, and she was white. And but that was who could understand him. She had been his secretary for years, making all his travel arrangements. And so he married her, and so she made sure that the house was turned over to the national parks. And when that happened, 70% of everything in the house was original.
Wow.
And it had not been. And there was 21 rooms in the house.
This is amazing information. Were you able to take any pictures?
I got some pictures of it.
Of the house?
Of the house.
Oh,
and
that's good.
And the guy that was our tour guide, he was absolutely amazing. He just had history.
He knew it.
And he knew it. And it was interesting because it was a very small group of us. It was myself and my cousin and his son. And then there was a lady that... it was another family. They were white. Mm-hmm. And so as they're telling them about, him being beaten and him this and him that, they were gasping.
Really?
And going,
they couldn't believe it.
They couldn't believe it. And what they had to go through. And his whole thing was fighting for the rights and the civil rights of people, basically his people. Mm-hmm. And that, so it was actually awesome. And then the next day, we went to George Washington Mansion, and so that was eye-opening. George Washington, that was in Mount Vernon, and so he is a whole part, and it's not too far from where my cousin lives. And so on that day, they were having, which is interesting because, you have your D.C. with the crazy president, and then so... We're driving through Washington, and the flags are at half mast. Yeah. And so my cousin's like, why is that happening? We weren't sure because, 4th of July was a couple of days, it was the next day. Yeah. And so my cousin, we went on to the base where he used to work. Mm-hmm. And the guy said, we're doing this in honor of the journalist that had died. That got killed, right? Yeah. So then while we're there, I see a tweet from Trump saying, okay, no, we're not flying flags at half mast.
He said that?
Yeah.
That guy is sick.
So D.C., Virginia, the District of Columbia, and Maryland, all of their mayors said, no, that's exactly what we're doing. So they stepped out. You run the White House. You don't run the city.
The city, exactly.
So they stepped up, and that's what it was. But when we went to George Washington's house, a couple of things. They were having a naturalization ceremony there. So they had about 115 immigrants that were becoming American citizens. Right. And then right behind that, Trump was like, okay, well, we're gonna get rid of all the naturalized citizens. Like, dude!
He said that?
Yeah.
In a tweet?
Yeah.
That guy is sick.
Yeah. We're just going to snatch back their citizenship. Don't care how long they've been here, we're just going to take it back.
That is so
So here you're sitting there, and it was very apropos because it's Independence Day. Yeah. And you're on this property, which was absolutely beautiful. But the interesting thing was, as you're walking around, so you go through the main house, and then right on the other side of it is the bunks for the slaves. Wow. And so the men slaves, they kept the men together, and then they kept the women together, and then the overseer's house was right across from theirs.
I'm sure the overseer's house was close to the women's section, right?
Yeah.
Women's quarters.
Mm-hmm. And so when you go to it, so they have, these are renditions of it because it's not the original. So, hey, Rhonda, so the kids are watching now. So the men's bunk were about 10, there were 2 up. They were double bunk beds. Mm-hmm. And so it's like 5, so it was 10. Mm-hmm. And so as you're reading the signs, and this little white boy was reading the signs, and everybody was just standing there, and he's reading the signs aloud. And so it really, you really felt this. Mm-hmm. And it was saying these bunks usually held 30 to 40 men that had been working from sun up to sundown. Wow. And then the children would sleep on the floor. So now the bunks were not as wide as this table. So you mean 2 men in to a bunk, or 2 or 3 or 4 into a bunk. Wow. After working in the field. Yeah. Now it was about 90 degrees, 75 of that was humidity. Yeah. So you really felt them working in the hot sun. Mm-hmm. And then they come in, there's no water for bathing. Yeah. They got scraps of food to eat. Yeah. And then the children are sleeping on brick on the ground of the tent. So when he's reading that, you could hear the gasping from the white people in the room. Wow. And then the same thing with the women's cabins. And then, so my cousin was like, oh, my God. And as you're walking down and you're seeing the livestock, and you could see for miles, like you could just feel what that was like in the hot sun while they were working. So they were doing a reenactment of the Civil War, and so they were in all their suits, and so everybody was white pretty much, but a few handful of black people, and then some Asians and some Hispanics, not too many Hispanics. And then as you go down, you come to the area, the entombment for George Washington and Martha Washington. So they were there, and as you turn, they were saying, and this had just been discovered or just been excavated, was the gravesite for the slaves that died on the property. Wow. So when you go there in the center, and then this is just recently, as of 1970, some are young people that were in the architectural department on the archaeological department at Howard. They came and put up a monument in the center. But when you look back for like this, if this whole room, that was the gravesite for the slaves. No markers. Wow. No nothing.
They probably buried them on top of each other.
Yeah, right, exactly. Buried them on top of each other, and just this area. I mean, when my cousin was like, "Oh my God," because you could feel it. You could really feel it. And then those are the ones that were from the house. Those are the ones that worked on the house property. Right. Then you go further down on the property near the water, then those were the ones that worked in the fields. Wow. So it was
awful. That is awful.
So that was,
I mean, it's good to learn that and, kind of get a feel for what it's like, but picturing it, it's not beautiful.
No, and when you're there, but I would say this. I would say that because there were so many people of non-color that were there, and they were very honest that these were slaves. In fact, we were being taken a tour of the house, and they were saying that at Martha's death, George Washington freed 115 slaves. That was part of her death. But so my question was, well, how many slaves did he actually have? And so they had 300. Okay, Rhonda, thank you. Tell the kids hi. Kids, we are going to speak about you very shortly and all the wonderful things you guys are doing. So Martha, but the rest of the slaves, he had 317 slaves. And the rest of the slaves were endowments from Martha's family. Oh, and they could not be freed. Oh. So they still was in service. They were still slaves until his death.
Why couldn't they be freed?
Because that was part of that was inheritance from her. And in the codicil of her will, well, they weren't transferred to ownership to George Washington. They were just her inherited. Wow. I mean, we were literally chattel.
I'm sure a lot of people were bawling their eyes out, right?
Yeah. One lady was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Yeah. But, if you don't know your history, it's really... So by the time I got to the Power Network conference, it was...
You were all motivated.
I was motivated to be around my own people and people, and we went through the regular ceremony. And this year was very, very special for a couple of reasons. George Frazier, Dr. George Frazier, his partner died 10 days before the conference.
Really?
Yeah, and he had been his partner for 42 years. Wow. And so it had like a melancholy, but George, a couple of times when he did the opening ceremony and they did a tribute to Greg. And it's interesting because Greg was more than just a partner. It was like his brother. Yeah. So his family worked within the Frazier Net. Right. And so, it was like, okay, we got to go through this because this has been their lifelong work.
10 days, huh?
Like 10 days before. Wow. And but it was just so powerful. So we opened up the ceremony like we did before. But again, the theme was Wakanda and Wakanda Forever. And George is launching something called Frazier Nation. Yeah. And everybody's empowered for people of color to rise up above this, that this is a time where we have that opportunity, but we have to take ourselves up to the next level. We have to change the economic landscape of our people. We have to.
Yeah. So the trip to the museum, is that a part of the program?
No, the trip, no, because generally you have to get passes to go to like 3 months before you go.
Yeah.
And but because my brother-in-law, my cousin is in the military, we could just go up.
So this is something you did on your own?
This is something I did on my own.
Okay.
So, and then my cousin was like, well, we might as well, now let's just go look around the city. Mm-hmm. So there's also Ida B. Wells. She's buried there. She has a home there. So there's so much that you could go see in D.C. And I've been there like 3 or 4 times now, and I had not seen it from someone that lives there and for somebody that served in the military. Right. So you really get it from a different. But even there was a right up the street from, not too far from where he lived. George Washington actually, to this day, his legacy and his estate. They have a mill that actually is operation. So the cornmeal that you buy, a lot of it is coming from that mill. So we saw how that was made. Wow. He also has a distillery. So Jack Daniels and a lot of the fine liquors is distilled from the crop that is produced from their land.
That's amazing.
I know. I know. So it was like the setting for the conference, right?
See, you're sharing some stuff with me that I kind of knew, but not in this detail, this comprehensive manner.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Right. And Frederick Douglass, he entertained, he met like weekly with Harriet Tubman. He all of the literary greats, all of the free men, the slaves, the ones they were running, they were helping them with the Underground Railroad. But he also was in Washington helping to make change in legislation and fighting for his people and for the freedom of his people. Yeah, so we think it happened a long time ago, but today when we think about it, this is the now.
See, everything that happened back in the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18th century, it's still going on right now. It's manifesting itself in different format, but it's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing. So that was pretty cool. So then when we got to the conference, the first day, which was they had a bonus day. I got there on the 4th. Well, I got there on the 2nd, and then on the 4th, spent that with my cousin, and then we left there and went to I went to the hotel. So the 5th was the first day of the conference. So you're at the conference from 9 o'clock in the morning, and I mean, just off the bat, just high level conference. Back to back for. So they did the opening, they did the tribute to Greg, which was awesome, and then they beat the drums and a tribute from our African culture. And so they had these young men that were standing outside beating the drums. They cut the ribbon, and you went inside, and then they did a call out, and so this one guy's name is Dr. Kava. He talked about us needing healing, and so this conference was a place that we could get healed, and we could feel safe, and we could be black, and we could talk about money, and we could talk about our children and our legacy,
growth and economics,
and meeting and talking with other people that are on that same level, speaking the same language.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, man. So that was 4 days of that.
That is amazing.
And then Saturday, we were all in our African garb, and we had a Wakanda party.
Is he ever going to bring something like that here to L.A.?
Well, the conference moves around, so he had a contract for 4 or 5 years to be in D.C. So the next conference is in Houston.
Would be nice if they can do it simultaneously, like D.C. or Houston and L.A. at the same time, because I'm sure there's a lot of people here who would love to participate.
But you got to have George. So George can't be in 4 places at one time. Because without George, you don't have a power network conference. And with all the people that he brings. So when it comes to Houston, everybody from LA will be in Houston. Because it used to be in Dallas. And everybody went. So now we do have conferences. The Power Network West is here. Barbara Lindsay is the one that heads that. not on that level where we have 1,500 people, but we have, the people that are followers of George, and then you have speakers, powerful speakers that are from out here, but not on that level. That level is a once a year kind of thing. But so next year we all have to go, because you just have not seen anything like it, and it will change how you feel about your own people.
Well, we got to start prepping ourselves for that.
Yeah, because
start prepping ourselves.
When you walk away, you're just like, where have I been? That's how I felt the first time. And so this time, half the room was brand new people that had never been to the conference.
And you know what I like about that? It forces everyone to step their game up. You can't go there non-directional, non-progressive, non-ambitious. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Because everybody else in that environment is ambitious. They're moving to something. They've got a goal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And the people are sharing their information so just readily.
Yeah.
They're sitting there and say, what's your business, and what what's holding you back, and what would help you move forward, and let me introduce you to so and so and so, and let me introduce you to so and so. And I mean, people come, Crystal, so and so sent me over there to find you. They said I needed to meet you. Okay, that's nice. Great. And as they get to know you, and then the people that you do know, you come back and it's just like, oh, this is like a reunion, right? And they, I met some young. And now this year was really focused on the millennial. I met some powerful these two guys are 23 years old. Just awesome.
Movers and shakers.
Movers and shakers. So
we're at the bottom of the hour right now, and this is just an amazing story and information you're sharing, Crystal. And I'm sure many of our listeners out there, our viewers, they're really enjoying this. And hopefully, if you want to call in and get some more insight on this information, how to become self-sufficient, give us a call. Our number here is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and I want us to come back, Crystal, and tell me more about this thing, because I'm really energized right now.
Yeah, okay? I have the program, so we can look at some of the great classes and stuff. So we'll be right back, guys.
You're on the Business Zone.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Each year, the state of California contracts for billions of dollars of goods and services. We as a state can and should leverage our spending power to achieve policy goals that help the people of California. One major policy goal we have is to create jobs and grow our state economy. Promoting the development of small businesses within California is a great way for us to do that, because California's small businesses are the engine of economic growth. 95% of companies in California are small businesses, and with the right opportunities, these small businesses can grow to become the next Apple, Netflix, or Tesla. So let's all do our part to promote small business development and grow our state economy. Together, we can really make.
Hello.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic, and we are so happy to have the Queen Bee, Crystal, back in the house. We've missed her for quite a while now, but she was out there laying the land for us, so it can make opportunities much easier for many of us going out there and seeking opportunities. And Crystal came back with a lot of good tidings of great joy, and she was just sharing some with us in the studio. So if you want to participate in this conversation as well, please give us a call, 323-293-3375, and you can get it directly from Crystal.
Yeah, and if any of our listeners out there attended the Power Network conference, call in.
Yes.
Because I know some of you are out there watching and you have your own experiences and I have mine. But I was just blown away.
Yeah.
I was just blown away. There's this young man, this guy there that sponsored the event. His name is Dr. Terrence Cash. And he was in the technology business and sold his business for some millions and billions of dollars.
Really?
And so now he has a consulting firm called Greenlight. And just words of wisdom. And if you look in this was the program. So on each day in the mornings, these were some of the topics, wealth secrets the rich don't talk about. And so he had cocktail parties every evening after the conference around 10 o'clock at night that you could just go sit and here's this billionaire sharing all of his information. How often does that happen, right?
That's rare. That's very rare.
And so these are some of the topics. The power of coaching. Can't see the picture when you're in the frame. And so that's what we're going to talk about is coaching. Moving blacks from a state of emergency to 4 pillars of intergenerational wealth. The power of self-reinvention. The power of real estate. How to generate $100,000 of marketing with $100, social media, and more.
Wow.
That was the first day.
Wow.
That was just day one. And then you moved over to day 2.
Right.
And you had 3 simple 7-figure secrets. Fool Me Twice, Black America's top secret playbook for intergenerational wealth. Then you had Economics is the New Black Power, the 4 corners of wealth, and how to speak your way to a 7-figure empire. And then we had, I took a class, learn a unique, fun, and easy way to make money flipping and holding stocks. And this was the whole conference. So every single day you were just inundated with how to make money, how to hold on to your money, how to grow your money, and then how to enjoy life while you were doing it. That was the whole conference.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing.
Now, how often you do that?
Well, I can see myself being there next year, Crystal.
Yeah, because you just and you don't even get tired. You're up. I tell you, I would.
It's like information grab. You know, you're there. You just
you just like I don't have but a short bit of time to be around these people, and I'm gonna suck it all in, right? Exactly. Because I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna be on top of it.
You know how they have those little piñatas for the kids, right? And they whack it open, and they only have these little bags to fill it up with candy, and then trying to grab as much as it.
Yeah, like that's exactly what this is. I get all my goodness.
That's exactly what this is.
Right, and you couldn't even. You're like, okay, if I leave, I'm gonna miss something.
Yeah.
I can't even go to the bathroom. I can't even eat. And George, you know how you go to conferences and they break for lunch?
Yeah.
No, this is not one of those kind of conferences where they give you 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
No.
Working lunch.
It's working lunch, or you run out and grab some lunch before a breakout session.
Yeah.
Or you bring it with you so you don't have to leave because you're afraid you're going to miss some wonderful nugget if you walk out the room.
Unbelievable.
That's the kind of conference. It's one of the best conferences in the country, actually.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so now, when we talk about coaching, and that's what we're going to talk about, the benefits of coaching. Mm-hmm. So you know how you actually almost have to talk people into coaching here, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm there in the different, hey Lloyd, how are you? I'm there in the different workshops, and all the coaches at the end, they have packages. And so usually people start getting up to leave, right? Because it's commitment time, right?
Yeah.
No get up to leave. They were sitting there on bated breath waiting for whatever the package was.
Wow.
With their checkbooks and credit cards in their hand. Mm-hmm. When they were turning around handing out the forms, they were like, I didn't get one. I didn't get one. I didn't get one. These people were hungry for the coaches because they understood the value of coaching.
See, that's the key thing right there, understanding the value. And, that's one of the things that we're trying to get entrepreneurs to understand, that there's value in everything we do, but until you recognize what that value is to you and what it can do for you,
right?
You don't see that value.
You don't see that value, and you don't understand that coaching can expand and take your business to a place that you can't get it there by yourself.
No.
I mean, it's the same thing when you're an athlete. You could have been playing football or basketball from the day you could walk. Yeah. But if you want to go to a level where they're going to recruit you for a top level Pac-10 or Pac-12 college, you have to have had a good coach.
And see, the thing about that part right there is, Crystal, you just mentioned an athlete knowing all of this stuff. He knows a lot, or she knows a lot, but there's a limit to what they know. So that's where the coaches come in to put them on a more panoramic level, where not only do they learn their skill, their craft, their talents, but also now they need strategies. Right. They need that overall management approach.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then the coach is going to help them to set goals and objectives, help them to enhance their performance. Because you're good at what you do, you're at a certain level. But until you have someone helping you to take that performance to another level, then you may never see it.
You may never see it, and you may never look at it at the same way, right?
Exactly.
And one of the things, those of us that teach and coach and train, first of all, our job is to research whatever new trends are out there, so that when we're delivering our messages, we have fresh ideas, right? And we also go to seminars and workshops, so we're constantly
upgrade our skills and
up there, right? But because that's our business, we're focused on that business. But if that's not your business, then you're not focused. You're focused on what you do,
right?
So you need someone that's on the outside of you who can look into your business and go, you know what? I think your business would grow if you do X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And then, so let's give this a try. Right. And then I will check back in with you, because it's the accountability piece, right?
Right. And that's a great point, because many of us, we get to grow our business to a certain level. Can't grow it beyond that. We do everything we can, but that's the best we can do. Now, that's where the coach and the mentors come in to take you to the next level, to introduce you to other resources that you otherwise wouldn't have access to.
And you wouldn't even have thought about it.
No.
You look at people going, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Right? You wonder, especially the new millionaires. There's been so many of them. You wonder, how did they, okay, we all came up with an idea.
Yeah.
We all had a business. Okay, we go about the regular traditional ways of finding capital for our business. Yeah. And if not, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
But then you look at somebody else and going, how did they get to that level?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did they do?
Right.
And then you find out they had a coach. Because the other component of that coach is he has a wealth of resources that he can connect you to.
Right. That's
because
right.
now you're his client.
That's right.
So he's sharing his wealth of knowledge with his colleagues, with you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it, because and I've done this when I do marketing within my business development program. You know, I talk about the five sector of clients. You know, your clients fall within 5 categories, and one of those 5 categories is the 25%er. The 25%er are the group of clients who wouldn't usually use your service. Even though you provide the service they need, they wouldn't use your service because you're not on their caliber.
Right.
But the only way you can get to that 25%er is if someone introduces you to them. Someone make that connection, say, hey, you know what? Crystal is good people. She's been doing this for years now. I know her work. And then they're going to say, usually we don't deal with the Crystal types of people because Crystal is not on our level. But just because you introduce her, we're going to give her some time of day. We're going to listen to her.
Right.
And that's all we need.
Right. And they will just make one phone call.
One phone call.
Whereas you may have been sending letters and emails.
And they keep ignoring you.
And they keep ignoring you because they don't know who you are.
Yeah, that's the 25%ers.
Right. You need somebody to co-sign for you so that they can say, no. This is like a diamond in the rough. You really need to talk to this person right here because they are just, I've had conversation, I've watched them for a while, and even when you don't know it, people are watching what you do because I get that all the time.
And that's why you have athletes and others have agents because the agents speak to the owners on that level.
Right.
There's no way the owner is going to talk to the player.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So that's where that intermediary person comes in, you know, to provide that leverage and access.
Right. And so when you look at it from a business standpoint, you know, a coach will help you increase your productivity. Whereas you may not have, you're doing what you think makes sense to you, and maybe it worked when you first started your business, and you'll see that you've kind of maximized your growth, and you can't seem to get past that same place.
Right.
But then bring in somebody at the outside, and then they're like, well, you know what? Why don't we think about doing this and this and this? Or had you even thought about going in this direction over here? And because it's not too far of a stretch, and it's not going to cost you that much more money to do it that way, and then you do it, and right away you didn't tripled or doubled your income.
And the coach provides that panoramic view where they get to see your blind spots.
Right.
You don't see your blind spots because you're so focused, like you say, in that mirror, the frame of the mirror, frame of the picture. You only get to see certain things because you're that close to the mirror. But the coach, they take a step back and they get that panoramic view. They see everything. They see your strengths, your weaknesses, and then they give you strategies to help build those weaknesses.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And you're like, dang, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you know, like you look like you're a magician, right?
Yeah, like a boxer is like, hey, you know, you can't go left or your left is weak. And you're like, no, my left is strong, you know, okay.
And then they videotape
exactly.
And then you go, oh, yeah, I guess it is kind of weak.
It is weak.
Or I'm doing this or I'm doing that.
Exactly.
And even when you look at an athlete, if they want to go to the Olympics, they're not doing that on their own.
That's right.
And even then, you go through levels of coaches.
Yes.
Because if you want to go really to that high performance level, then you need a high performing coach to get there. So you're constantly growing even past your coach, especially if your coach is not growing.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
So, and it was so funny because this weekend, Alicia Madison that sat in, she's co-hosted with it, and she's the with the Bella Network, right?
Network, right.
So we're at lunch, and they have at the PNC, and they do an auction, and where they're auctioning off various coaches and their packages, and then the audience is the participants are bidding on it, and then the proceeds of that goes to pay for young people to come to the conference for free.
Right.
So, and that happens every year. And Jerry Foster, he's a brander here in Los Angeles. He's the auctioneer. He puts on his little sharp red jacket.
Yeah.
And he goes into auction mode, right?
Right.
So there was this young George Frazier. George was being auctioned off, and so he went for a pretty decent price, a cost. Then this young lady got up, and so she just stood there. She quietly said what her package was, and all of a sudden the bidding just went off the chain.
Went crazy.
And so Alicia's like, I don't understand. How would they bid more for her than they bid for George's sister? Because
Right.
George's sister is also a coach, and she's just as talented as her brother, right?
Yeah.
So I said, well, I don't know. I haven't seen this young lady in action. So when I went over to her booth, she, location, right? So when you're walking down the corridor, she is right at the end. Before you turn the corner, she is like cat a corner, like right here.
Is she one of these people in here?
She is this young lady. She's not the super coach. She is this young.
I thought so. I thought so.
So this is her book,
Mm-hmm.
The $1 Million Brand.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody else is in breakout sessions.
Yeah.
And so she has her own little corner. She has her big screen TV like this, bigger than this.
Mm-hmm.
And she has her little camp chair sitting here.
Mm-hmm.
She branded. Oh, branding. She has
knows that.
magazines. Everything got her face on it, everything. And the girl goes to work. So this book, if you open this book up, so she says, everyone should have a book. She got to say what had to be in the book, but everything should be in the book. So in this book is her slides. This is the presentation. And she sells this for $100.
Wow.
She sells in units.
Wow.
In units. She says you got to think in units. So this is her whole presentation. So when she was telling you stuff, and I think I mentioned to you, so she goes, you want to write a book? Don't be waiting, trying to figure out titles and trying to figure out the content. Because if you got a lot of content, it's hard to do that.
Yeah.
She goes, just like we're having this conversation, she goes, pick up your phone and start talking in your phone, and then take your phone and that videotape and forward it to Fiverr, Fiverr, and let them transcribe it. And then when you get it back, then send it to an editor. And she says, that's your book. On whatever, just having this conversation.
But you know what's amazing about that, Crystal? We know that.
I know.
We know that. But it's like, we kind of, when you know something and it's just second nature, so yeah, whatever. But now somebody else just take it and run with it. That's what she did. She took what we know and she ran with it.
She never hesitates. If she sees something, she goes, I don't wait. She goes, I didn't wait for somebody to give me a TV show. She goes, I put together my own TV show. I sent my trip, created my treatment, and I went to a station looking like she looked, and she goes, I had my TV. She now just signed a deal with Master P, and she going around the country interviewing Master P, and he's sharing his power, his strategy on how he became a millionaire.
I ain't mad at her.
And you have to laugh because she's got a Brooklyn accent.
Yeah.
And so, women or people from New York, they're just like hustlers.
Yeah.
So she got her hustle on.
Yeah. This is branding right here. This is branding.
So Small Biz Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to take it up several notches and just listening to how she did hers. Yeah. So after it was all over, Alicia says, "Okay, I'm going to sign," because she was trying to decide who she was going to, what packages she goes. I'm going for her because for the Bella Network, I'm just using things, and so even if she sits down and she finds herself at an event and there's a celebrity there, she makes sure she's introduced. She makes sure that she gets a video with them or a picture with them, and then she puts that all up on her Facebook or in her Instagram saying, I'm hanging out with so-and-so. Yeah. She then gets them to say, I'm hanging out with my girl, Tiana. Yeah. And we doing our thing here. And this girl is like the $1 million brander. And that's it.
This is amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
This is amazing. This is amazing. The brand, she's got the branding going. She's got the branding going. You see that?
Yeah. So she makes, when she goes to a conference, whatever the conference fee is, she makes that 4 or 5 times over. Mm-hmm. And she has a plan. If I go in to sell units, I'm going to make sure that whatever she brings, so if these are $100 and there's 800 people at the conference, she's making sure those 800 people stopping by her booth because she's standing there having her, so you don't have no choice but to stop. Mm-hmm. And you get so intrigued with what she's doing, whether what she's wearing or how she's talking. Right. And you just have to stop and go, oh. And then she's saying, so here are my packages. Yeah. I'm not forcing you to do anything. Mm-hmm. But if you're not ready for that, here's my book. Mm-hmm. And here's the whole presentation that I just did. Yeah. And it's $100. Mm-hmm. Folks was running up there, here's my $100. Here's my credit card, right?
I hear that.
So my girlfriend said, do you want to get it together? No, I want my own. Because I want to peruse through this and look at the videos and find out what she's doing, and one day next year maybe I'll be going to one of her seminars.
This is amazing, Crystal.
I know, isn't it?
This is
so
amazing.
It's just stuff that we don't even think about. Yeah. So when we're ready to go to the next level, and so that was one of the things I wanted to do, was to make sure that I was investing in me. Mm-hmm. And so I've been to this is my 3rd conference at excuse me. Mm-hmm. The first 2 years I just went to observe, and so this year I went with a purpose. And one of the things I wanted to do was, I wanted to do my African ancestry. So I've done that. I did the test right there, and I handed it to them. So I'm going to wait for that to come back, and then I wanted to on branding so that we could make sure that we take the Business Zone to the next level.
We got to do that
because we are building content every single day. Mm-hmm. We've been on the air for 2 years now, as of Sunday. Sunday, 2 years.
Yes, 2 years.
2 years. And it is time. We need to monetize the show. Yeah. And we need this show to be known all over the country.
Well, it's going to be. It's going to be.
Now here's something interesting that you will get a kick out of.
Uh-oh.
So I'm at the conference, and I turn around, and guess who I see at the conference?
Who?
Punch TV.
Get out. So, what, did he talk to you?
Uh-huh. We danced together.
What did he say?
He's like, what happened? Why aren't you guys on my channel?
Like he doesn't know. Like he doesn't know. Like he doesn't know.
He said, what happened there?
Yeah.
I said, well, we'll discuss it later. But and then at the end, and everybody was coming, he goes, we need to talk.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, interesting. So I thought you'd get a kick out of it.
Well, sometimes it's good for things like this to happen, where you're in love with somebody, then you fall out of love a little bit. Uh-huh. You miss them, they miss you, you forget about them, then you meet them again, and then people realize, the missing ingredients.
Right.
And then bring the missing ingredients back into the picture. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So maybe...
we might better have that conversation, and it might be on a more equitable term.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Because, we didn't just roll over and die. We were doing stuff.
Oh, we still... Right, exactly. And so now we really getting ready to do
exactly.
stuff. And it's just... And that's why these things are so important. But I thought that was... So he was around taking pictures. So on Wakanda night, we danced a couple dances together. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, and it was necessary for him to see that other side of you.
Yeah.
So then now... When we get to that table, that negotiation table, now the offers will mean something more meaningful.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
so things all happen the way it's supposed to. So I thought that was cute. I think that was on the second day I walked right into him. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were here. He's like, hey, wait a minute, what happened?
He knows what happened. He knows what happened.
But the Business Zone has been on the air for 2 years.
2 years.
And we've had some powerful guests, and so now we're ready to. We need to be nationwide.
We need to put this together.
We need to put this together, and then we need to do from our side. I think. Hey, Gwen, how are you? From the Black Women's Network, we need to. And I was telling Rhonda this, and actually Dawn, who is on a television show today. That's why she's not here today. Mm-hmm. She's on a television show with Jewel Diamond Taylor. And they were talking about how if you don't stay on top of the new trends on how to get yourself out there. So all of these people have webinars. They're all doing their training nationwide or worldwide and that's how they're building their brand. Yeah. So we definitely, that's our next level, is we have to become nationwide and then worldwide.
We're going to go ahead. We're at the top of the hour right now. So, it's amazing how time goes by here on the Business Zone. Those of you who are listening, please don't sit by. Don't just stand by and be a participant. Well, a non-participant. Be a participant by giving us a call here.
An observer.
Don't be an observer. Give us a call here, and we can share some of this vital information that Crystal brought back from Washington, D.C. to help small businesses. Our number here is 323-293-3375. That's 323-293-3375. You're listening to the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Let's take a break.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Each year, the state of California contracts for billions of dollars of goods and services. We as a state can and should leverage our spending power to achieve policy goals that help the people of California. One major policy goal we have is to create jobs and grow our state economy. Promoting the development of small businesses within California is a great way for us to do that, because California small businesses are the engine of economic growth. 95% of companies in California are small businesses, and with the right opportunities, these small businesses can grow to become the next Apple, Netflix, or Tesla. So let's all do our part to promote small business development and grow our state economy.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Today we're talking about coaching. How small businesses can benefit from coaching by having the right coach in your corner. Now, we hear a lot of people talk about coaching, professional coaching, business coaching, and all of these types of things, Crystal. But just like in relationships, some coaches and some mentees don't go together.
Right.
You got to have the right coach for the right mentee and vice versa.
Right.
So, we've come across a lot of entrepreneurs. Some of them say they want help. Some of them say they need help. But when we decide to give them the help, then they either run away and hide. They don't call us back. They come up with excuses why they don't want to continue the process. But it's either because they're afraid or it's just not the right match.
It's not the right match, or they know that you're going to you're going to force them to move out of that comfort zone, right? And so they may not be ready. And I think from our standpoint, and both of us are nurturers, so you want everybody to grow, right? Mm-hmm. And you want to be able to help everybody. But I think we have to decide from our standpoint who's going to value most from what we have to give. Yeah. And so that's on us, right? So, and it's better for the people to come to you than you to be seeking after them and begging them, because they may not be ready yet.
That's true.
And so then you get frustrated, and when you walk away from that, you walk away feeling this bad taste in your mouth. So I think coaching has to be something that someone has to want. It has to be their decision to say, I am ready to take my business to the next level. Yes. And I know I can't do that. Right. In fact, I had a call today from one of my friends, and we were at the conference together. And so her husband is starting a men's a clothing business and men's suits and so forth. Yeah. And so she was talking to their accountant, and they were saying what they need. And so he was asking. He says, "Okay, well, you need to make sure you have a system that's keeping track of all your expenses and your whatever." She says, "Well, we have something kind of sort of." He goes, "No, I don't know what kind of sort of is." Right. So he says, "You need to have a real system,
exactly,
a real keeping system." So she says, she said, I talked to my husband. He said, "Well, Crystal, there's no question."
Exactly.
She says, "No." She says, "Crystal does that." He said, "Well, then that's where we're going." Yeah. So that's what she called me about today. It's like, there is nobody else. Right. So when they're ready, and that's what I've had to find out. When I was doing the bookkeeping classes and trying to get people to sign up for QuickBooks, and I'm chasing them down, trying to get them in a classroom. And
that's a good point. That's a very good point.
So I stopped chasing after them. I let them come to me.
They've got to be ready. Because if they're not ready, it's just a waste of your time and a waste of their time. You're reaching out to them. Hey, just sent you a text, just sent you an email, sent you one a few days ago. Haven't heard from you, just want to follow up with you. And it's like a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. So they will come to you. There was a guy that at the conference that I signed up for, because I've already said I want to be on a platform as a speaker. Yeah. And I want to get paid for it. Yeah. I don't have a problem speaking every now and then for free, but I don't want to be paid.
That's right. You're not Santa Claus.
We're not Santa Claus anymore.
Right.
And in order to continue on to do what we do, you got to be compensated
That's
for it.
right.
We're supposed to, right?
That's right.
So I was trying to decide where I was going to go, and then I saw in the program, it's like, oh, I want to go to this guy's breakout session. I'm looking and looking and looking, and there's no signage, no room number where his class was. I had to go and up to the informational desk, and they're like, I don't even know. For whatever reason, his information got left off the book, out the book. So one of the people literally walked me. He's like, I think this is where they are. So he walks me down there. So when I get in and I hear him talking, and he says, if you're in this class,
you really want to be here.
You really want to be here because y'all had to find me.
Exactly.
You, right?
I like that strategy.
Right. And I went, whoa, yeah. He said, so I'm not, hey, Carmelita. He says, I'm not going to talk you into anything.
Yeah.
If you feel you're supposed to be here and this is the place you're ready to jump and leap for your speaking business, then you'll make that decision. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to tell you I'm good at what I do. Mm-hmm. And I will teach you how to, and he was a impact. He said, if you want to be a speaker that leaves an impact, he said, I can't guarantee you're going to become rich, but if you feel your platform is to leave an impact, then I'm the speaker. I'm the person that can teach you how to do that.
How to do that.
And he said,
unbelievable.
Right. And he says, and I use stories. And so he was telling stories, which leaves an impact, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And that's how I teach. Yeah. That's how I speak. Yeah. And so I was like, wow, he's right. I was like 20 minutes late to get there because I couldn't even find the man. Yeah. And so at the end, and then he said that he now has an opportunity. Someone recently, before he came to the conference, had reached out to him and said they were looking for speakers that can speak internationally all around the world with a message. And so that's what he was going to be developing speakers to do that.
That's amazing. So what's the cost for him to prepare you to do that?
So it wasn't bad. It was like $9.97.
Not bad. How many hours?
So it's it's long. He says forever, actually. He said, I never let you go, actually. But, so we'll start. It's online because he's out of back east somewhere. So you'll be part of it. But he'll, the first initial is we'll have a conversation and find out exactly where you are and what kind of speaker you already are, what's your message, and what the message is you're trying to deliver, and then to get to know you. And then he starts helping you develop that. Yeah. So there was a young man that was 27 years old. And he said, and everybody else in the room were adult, older, more mature. And so he says, well, I don't know if I have a message that I could. He says, I want to be a speaker. And he actually was a minister. And he says, I want to be a speaker, but not just in the spiritual realm. I want to be a speaker. So he says, but I don't know what message I could deliver to older people. And so he says, so what's your story? He said, well, I had a stroke when I was 21 years old. And he said, that's your message. Because everybody else in this room is old enough to have a stroke, but you had a stroke at 21. Right. And so right then and there, he crafted that young man's message. And it was just so powerful.
Amazing.
Just crafted it right then and there. Yeah. And that's what you need, right? And that's what we do when we do talk to businesses on our side, right?
Yeah, we want to know the story. What's your story? What pain are you solving in the marketplace?
Right, exactly.
And that's really what it is.
Yeah, and so, and I thought, okay, because that's, because we speak, but people that do it professionally, there's a certain knack to speaking, and you watch them and they're smooth, and you're like, okay, I want to do that. Yeah. I want to be that kind of speaker on the stage. Right. Yeah, and so I think this guy, out of all that I spoke to and all that could have done that for what I want to do, I think he would be the one.
I'm still in awe about
I know, overall, Miss Tiana. Yeah, Miss Tiana bad.
I'm still in awe because it's so simple.
I know.
Yet impactful.
Right.
You see what I mean? Look at this. What to apply. Next step actions. how can this make me money? Every page you look at, see, every strategy that she uses.
Right, because a lot of times, see, when we do things, and you know, when you're talking about chasing after the person, we never get down to here.
Right, how is this making me money?
It's almost like you're embarrassed to get down to here. So how do I apply this technique?
Right,
and then how do I get there? What's the execution point?
Exactly.
And the bottom line is how's it going to make
me money?
How's it going to make me money?
You know,
and whatever those goals are.
And I have a thing lately I've been using as my strategy that, hey, you know, I'm at a certain age right now where I'm not going to get all this time I'm spending right now. I'm not going to get it back. I don't get a redo on this time. Nope. So this time got to mean something for me. You know, it's got to create some impact in my life. So if I'm just sitting and waiting and doing nothing, then I just wasted some time that I can't get back. So now I'm thinking, okay, what do I need to do in this time that it can be some impactful for someone else or myself that, you know, at the end of the day when my numbers call and they're going down my list, my history, to say, hey, you did this, and this. I could say, yeah, you know, at least it counted.
Exactly. And did you reach the goals that you had in mind?
Exactly.
And or did you spend your whole time just scraping together just to barely make a living?
Right.
When you could have done so much more if you just had reached out for the resources. An
example of this is I don't watch rerun movies. I don't. If I've seen it before, I don't want to watch it because I'm going to waste another hour watching something I already seen. I already know the results.
Yeah. No,
so
I don't
why am I doing that?
And I don't reread books. Well, certain books, if they're business type books, I'll go back and highlight certain areas. But no, I don't rewatch.
And sometimes when I'm watching TV, I'm sitting there going, okay, these are actors, producers, directors. These are guys making money from this material right here. What money am I making sitting here watching them?
Right, exactly.
Unless they're going to teach me something.
Right.
Like The Prophet.
Right.
Or Shark Tank.
Right, exactly.
You know, then it's worth my time sitting there and watching it. But if I'm just sitting there just to watch it for watching it purpose, no. That's where I'm going now. That's my strategy. And
you kind of have to. So you have to get serious. Even us, we have to get serious about what we do for a living. And if we're helping other people and we and we want our clients to grow, because if they elevate from this place, and I have a couple clients that I have watched them grow, and they'll turn around and say, it was because Crystal made me accountable.
Which is good.
And Crystal helped me see this direction. And one of them is Ardina. Yeah. Ardina is, she has this amazing product, and she has grown so much. And I remember years ago, she would come to every workshop I ever had. And so I was having another workshop, and she says, okay, I'm going to sign up. I said, no, you're not. She goes, what do you mean? I said, no, you're not. I have given you at this place right now. I have given you all the tools you need. You need to execute.
Yeah.
So no, you can't come. Now I'll coach you, but you can't come sit in another class to learn the same thing that I've already taught you.
It's like those professional students who keep going to school over and over and over.
It's not going to change if you don't execute it. Right. So that's what coaches do. Yeah. You have to be able to be honest. With your with them, and your customer and your mentee, so that they will grow. Right. That's the whole idea.
Right. I get you.
That's the whole idea.
That is so true, man. That is so true.
Right. And it really can. We're telling you the truth. It really can take your level, your business to another level.
And you know what's amazing about this, Crystal? I mean, I'm an expert in my field. You're an expert in your field. But even when we come together, we still learn from each other. You see what I'm saying? Which is amazing, because some people think, oh, you're an expert, you know everything. No, we don't know everything. There's still stuff that we need to learn. We can learn from a little baby. We can learn from little kids. I told you about this presentation I gave over in Long Beach to 100 black men, those young kids in that program, right? And we have these little 10 and 11-year-olds in there. So I'm giving a presentation on Small Biz Pro. And these little kids were asking me certain questions. I'm going, wow, amazing. I never thought about these questions from their perspective. But it's amazing because now it got me thinking. You know, and if I weren't sitting there with them, you know, I probably think, oh, I got this in the bag. I corner every area of this. But until they start asking those questions, I'm going, wow. And they ask in such a simple format. So can it do this? You know, what if I want to do this? I'm going, that's a good point.
Oh, and they grow you. So,
yeah.
And that's a good, you know, I'm doing the business camp. And so each camp has been different, right?
Yeah.
So this particular camp, and when you talk to children, and our age group is between the 11 and 17. So that's a broad range, right? And these are middle schoolers, so the 11-year-olds, so keeping their attention.
Yeah.
So yesterday I was teaching on, I had them all get up and tell me what business they wanted to create. And so all of a sudden, everybody was, and I had first done identifying a problem in their community. So depending on wherever they live, they had some interest in. I said, so let's write down all the problems that you guys see in your community. So they were giving me prostitution. They were giving me too many alcoholics or drug addicts and so forth and so on. So what came out of that is, okay, now what businesses can we create? So, of course, rehab centers. So the next day I had them each get up because I wanted to really jar their minds so that they would really think far out of the box as to what kind of businesses they could create to solve problems that they could solve or pain. And so the next day I had like 4 or 5 of them that wanted to do rehab centers. So I said, I said, okay, but you're really going to have to do something really unique for you to have 4 or 5 different rehab centers, right?
Yeah.
So they went, I said, but let me see if I can help you get there, right? So half the room are boys, and so they're all into video games. And so the latest and greatest, you probably don't know this, but I'm very knowledgeable now in the video game world. So Fortnite is the new latest and greatest video game. And so I had just read, because I research everything.
Right, you have to.
So it was
you want to engage them, you have to.
Right? So I was able to say, hey, they just made a Fortnite available in Android. They're like, wow, Miss Crystal knows everything, right? So I got my resources. Yeah. So then I said, okay, so tell me, and you really get them engaged. I said, so tell me how many actual players are playing Fortnite. And so the one young man, he's 17, he says about 20 million people. I was like, okay. I said, but let's go back. Let's step back. What was the very first generation of video games? So they gave me 3 or 4 different ones. And I said, so what made, and it was like 10 million people here. I said, so what made those people move up to the next level? I said, what were the benefits of moving to the next level? And they're like, well, graphics and this and longer games and more interaction and that. And we kept going on until we got to Fortnite. And then, so one of them was 300 million people. But there was some sort of change going on. So, I mean, they know this stuff like we know our stuff, right? And they know platforms, and they're calling all this tech stuff. And so I'm following right along, and they're like, how does she know all this stuff, right? And so finally I said, so do you understand why you all can't have a rehab business? Because unless you're going to follow this, how you pull players from here to here to here to here to go up 4 generations. Next day I didn't have 4 rehab centers.
Really? What did they move on to?
So one moved on to debt reconciliation. Another one moved on to one of the other ones, security, security, cyber-based community. And then another one moved, I got one young man that's wanting to do landscaping, but with cactus and succulents or whatever they call it. And then one to do specialty waters. So then they just diversed on me. And then I have someone that's doing a blog. She's addressing self-esteem in teenagers. And then another one, a good feel-good place, apps. I got like 4 or 5 different apps that they want to build. So It all diverted.
Wow.
But I helped them see it the way they saw it.
I like what you did with them. That was pretty unique.
Yeah, because
like
that took them to their level.
Yes.
And so today we had something else. I was going through benefits. And guys, this is coaching. Even when I'm doing with these children.
Exactly. That's coaching.
When I teach, it's about coaching,
That's
right?
coaching.
And so, they're learning to grow their business.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I got them thinking out the box.
Yeah.
The very first day they sat down, I said, okay, let me tell you something about us as a people. Mm-hmm. And I told them about our $1.2 trillion.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then I told them what we spent it on.
Yeah.
They're like, that's ridiculous. So they get me, they get politics, they get all of that.
That's
so
great.
they get to thinking. So I have one young man, so they are engaging me in conversation.
Yes.
And these are young kids.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
having
amazing.
conversation about, well, if we do this, what happens here, Miss Crystal, and what happens here? And I have a statement, and they're even asking for stuff out. One young man asked me today, he goes, Miss Crystal, I was watching something, and they were saying that you should never let your personal business interfere with your business, with your business. He goes,
that.
and I was wondering, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So then I had to have that conversation.
That's amazing. You know what I'm also thinking? So I was watching the show recently with Warren Buffett, and this teacher, I think she is in Pennsylvania, and she foster and coach and mentor these kids anywhere from 10 years old to 17. Finances. She teaches them finances, what a balance sheet is, a profit and loss, a statement of cash flow, the different elements of financing, stocks, how to invest in stocks, a different type of stocks, why you do all of that, right? And while she's coaching them into that, her dream was to have them meet Warren Buffett. And it's like, she sent letters and someone would come in and say, what's your dream? What's your dream for these kids? She said, my dream is to meet Warren Buffett. So they have this annual event that Warren Buffett hosts. And someone sent him a letter to invite her, and she didn't even know. So the invitation came straight from him. Oh, she almost died.
Oh, wow.
And the invitation was for her to come and bring all of her students.
Wow.
And they get to meet Warren Buffett.
Oh, that's amazing.
So when they met Warren Buffett, now most of these kids, when they first enter the class, they know nothing about financial statements, balance sheet.
No,
they know nothing like that because no one teach them that. Warren said, when I was growing up, I didn't know that either. But certain classification of people, non-minorities, they get to learn that from early.
Yeah.
Minorities don't get to learn that.
Right, exactly.
So now I want to make a special effort to let you guys learn that. So they were going over all these financial terms that a lot of adults don't even know.
Wow.
And he was asking them, so what is this? And they're giving him the answers just like that. It was so amazing, so amazing. So at the end of the program that she was teaching, she gave them a certificate signed by Warren Buffett.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing right there. I'd love to have a certificate signed by Warren Buffett.
I know. So then I was just thinking about your kids. Because since you're into finance and bookkeeping and all of that, maybe you can do some of the same thing with your kids where, you teach them the balance sheet, the profit and loss, the statement, teach them the value of money. And just like you did with that one kid with a video game and that little girl that did the community garden, you can do the same thing where you give them a financial project to do.
Well, within their business plan, they have to break down their one unit, the description of what their one unit, and they break it all the way down to break even and the ROI and the ROS. But yesterday we took them to the Junior Achievement Finance Park.
Yeah.
And so they have an excellent program over there, and they get this little iPad, and they take them to different places. They tell them how much money they're going to make, what their occupation is, and then they go around and you got to buy insurance. You got to. So yesterday when we came back, what are your wants and your needs and your must have? So one young girl's like, oh, no children and no school loans, because you could be paying on your school loans forever.
That's amazing that they picked up on that.
Yeah. So they were like, no school loans, no school loans. And every time I asked her, no school loans. Yeah. That's all she had to say. But and so when I asked them what did they have to have insurance. They have to have. Someone was saying, you know what? I didn't even have a home. I had to rent an apartment. So one of the things I said to them, make sure that when you start working, don't buy an expensive luxury car and park it outside of an apartment building.
Exactly.
You need to own the condo or the house.
Exactly.
And so they got a real lesson in that yesterday. Yeah. And then when we go to, so one young lady is actually doing an app about financial literacy and for teenagers.
Now, how do they learn how to put those apps together?
So I have someone coming in on Monday that is going to, or Wednesday, he's going to come talk about the apps. But a lot of them are already doing coding. They've gone to coding camps.
So Wednesday, that's the
18th. Yeah. So I have Armin coming in.
If I have some time, I'd love to come by, because I'd love to, see what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah, these kids are just amazing.
Yeah.
And little ones, they're not even bigger than this. They're just like little ones. So there was one little one that yesterday we were getting some issue. I was having some issues with him. I don't know what happened between when they went to Finance Park. I think it all registered. So this morning I told them I'd given them homework yesterday, and then they had to come in and they had to write out their description of their business. They needed to write out their mission statement. They needed to have a name, a slogan, and a logo. And so they had all that this morning, and they had to do their industry, what their industry and the industry resource revenues, and what was the potential growth forecast. So they had all of that this morning.
That's great.
So we were talking about that this morning, and then I said, now I need you guys, and then I talked about features and benefits. So we went into that was the lesson this morning. And then I said, okay, now I need you to start working. And they working all quiet. Rhonda said, are they okay in there? I said, yeah, girl, they all connected.
They're getting into
she goes,
it.
Really?
I
we
love
had to tell anybody anything.
I love that.
So now, so when I left them, they have homework, I think 6 pages of homework. So one I was like, I have things to do this weekend. I said, excuse me, you are a new emerging entrepreneur.
That's right.
You have to make sacrifices. You're a businessman.
That's
now.
right.
So you're going to have to allocate some hours in your weekend to do your homework. He went, okay, Miss Crystal, I'll take care of that. Okay, Mr. Shelton, I know you will. And so they're all engaged and excited about what they're doing. Because one young lady last week sent me an email after she actually came in semifinals, and she said, you stretched me, and this is coaching. Yeah. You stretched me, and she was 13. No, 11. She said, you stretched me beyond what I knew I was capable of.
That's good. And that's what coaching is all about.
That's coaching. And those are kids, so now I think as an adult.
When they think they're at their limit and you take them a little farther, they go, wow, I didn't know I had this in me.
Right.
It's like when you're working out, they go, come on, 10 more. You go, no, I don't have 10. I don't even have 1. Come on, you can do it.
Like Dawn. Dawn is like, come on, Kristen, you can do this. 2 weeks ago, she had us doing walking lunges, and I had gone like the full length of the gym, and she's like, no, you only had to go halfway, but that's okay, Kristen, go ahead, do that. So, and that's what coaching does for you.
Yes,
It
definitely.
really takes you to that next level. Hey, Romney, where have you been, my friend?
So we're at the bottom of the hour there, so let's go ahead and take our last break. And we'll definitely come back and continue. You're going to take this person's message?
He just came in on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and we'll get back on our topic here on coaching and mentoring small business or individuals. And this is a joy for Crystal and I. We love doing this. We love sharing our information. Plus, just so you know, by coaching, it takes us beyond our limitation as well, because it forces us to learn a lot more. In order to teach, you got to learn more.
You got to learn.
Yeah. So
reinforcement.
Exactly, reinforcement too.
Right, exactly.
So we're going to go ahead and take a break, and you're watching the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Take a break.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
Each year, the state of California contracts for billions of dollars of goods and services. We as a state can and should leverage our spending power to achieve policy goals that help the people of California. One major policy goal we have is to create jobs and grow our state economy. Promoting the development of small businesses within California is a great way for us to do that, because California small businesses are the engine of economic growth. 95% of companies in California are small businesses, and with the right opportunities, these small businesses can grow to become the next Apple, Netflix, or Tesla. So let's all do our part to promote small business development and grow our state economy. Together, we can really make.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor.
So we're back on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. Today we're talking about coaching. Coaching small businesses, coaching entrepreneurs to take them to the next level, higher level of performance. And Crystal has been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for a while too. And it's amazing, Crystal. We've done this so many times. We've got so many different stories. Have you ever had a situation where you're coaching an entrepreneur and it just go all downstream, go crazy from there?
I've had a couple that may have started that way, and then I just kind of disconnected.
You bring it around?
Well, no, if it just looks like it's just not going to be a fit.
Yeah.
Then in fact, I had one. Well, it wasn't even really coaching. Someone asked me, because I do a lot of nonprofit stuff, and depending on the nonprofit, I volunteer my services. Mm-hmm. But then, of course, they may refer me over to someone. So recently, something came up, and they asked me to use one of my skill sets that is not what I do for a living, but it's one of my skill sets.
Yeah.
And so they wanted me to create this save the date flyer for them because they were going to have an event. And because it was, someone asked me, that's part of another nonprofit that I sit on their board, I said yes, because they felt, it sounded like they were in a pinch, right? And so I was like, okay, it shouldn't take me too long. Just tell me what you want to do. Show me what you did the last time. And then I'm thinking I'm just doing the save the date. And it turned out I was actually doing the flyer for the marketing thing for them. And so I'm like, okay. So now I have just started Biz Camp. Yeah. I'm just finishing Mount Sac. Got the show. Got RBD.
Everything on your plate.
And trying to make sure I wrap up my other clients because I know that I'm going to be locked down for 3 weeks and then I'm going out of town, then I'm coming back and be done. So, the plate is full.
Oh, yeah.
So then I do the flyer. I do the first one. They loved it. And then a week or so later, the person who asked me to do it, she went out of town and turned it over to somebody else. So then that person calls me. Now this is when she calls, is the very first day of the kids camp. So I return them and I say, look, I'm on my way to, this is what I'm going to do. And we talk about it in detail, what I'm about to do. So she's, oh, that sounds fantastic. Teaching kids how to be entrepreneurs, all that kind of stuff. So then I said, so I'll make the changes. So she sent me whatever changes to make the final flyer. So I send the flyer over to, I was waiting because they were supposed to give me the payment portal. Now the graphic art skill is a skill that I developed because it's faster for me to create my own graphic than to send it out.
Right.
And so, and I have some programs that make it quick and easy. I am not a graphic artist. So I don't jump on your time schedule because this is not my business, right? So I send it over and I'm waiting for the payment portal. And I send it over and I said, so did you get the payment portal? She comes back and says, oh, you weren't moving, you didn't get it to me quick enough, and we really had to get this out because so-and-so was going out of town, and so we turned it over to somebody else.
Really? Okay.
So now you done wasted some extra of my time.
Yeah.
You should have turned it over to that someone else in the beginning. If you had that someone else, that's who should have done it.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Time wasted that you can't get back.
You can't get back, but I'm going to get paid for it. So now the discount rate is gone back up to the regular rate. So now you're going to pay me. And then they're like, well, we'll invite you. No, don't invite me nowhere. Just pay me my money.
Right. Because
you didn't wasted my time. Exactly. And because there was a push-pull between the two entities, that was going to bleed over into my world. No, you ain't going to, all of that drama you got going on. No, y'all going to pay for that drama. So, that usually I just squash that kind of stuff. And then I send a little notes, and if I burn a bridge, that's all right. You won't come back and ask me nothing like that no more.
Which is good. So this leads to our next point. So what symptoms or signals do coaches look for to determine whether or not the coach-mentee relationship is not going to work or there could be major problems? What type of signals do you see?
For me, I think is when you obviously you got to know their story first, right? And then and if they've been in business for a long time, and you hear that, especially if they've been in business for over 10 years, and they're in the exact same place they were 10 years ago, and then you try to get a feel for where and what they have done to overcome that or to rise above that. And they'll say, well, I tried this and that didn't work, and tried this and didn't work, or I didn't want to do that. And then you got to go, because now you got to see, are they coachable, right? And or if you're giving them, here's my pet one, if you're giving them suggestions and they keep throwing it back out, no matter what you tell them, no, I can't do it. They find an excuse. No, I can't do it because of. I can't do it because of that. I can't do it because of that. And at that point, I kind of take a step back. And then I don't do too much more pursuing. How about you?
That's one of the first things I have here. If they're not open to recommendations, then you know you're going to have a problem. with
Yes.
them.
Right.
If when you're trying to I don't want to say pick their brain, but you're trying to collect data on them
And
and
they don't wanna
their
give you-
business, they don't want to provide you the data. They don't want to be forthcoming with the data.
Right.
That's a sign right there. When you ask them are you certified? Do you have this license? Do you have this type of documentation? And they go, yes. Okay, where is it? Can I have a copy? Can I see it? I don't know where it is, but I'll get it to you Monday. And Monday, the discussion never comes back up. They don't talk about it. And then you ask them again. They go, I just didn't have time. Those are signs to tell you that this isn't going to be a good mentee to work with.
Right.
Okay.
They're not going to take your information.
They're
You're going
not-
to waste your time. You're going to
no.
go do all that research
Right.
for them, and they're not going to do a thing with it.
Because chances are the reason they can't find it is because it doesn't exist. Or if it does exist, they've put it somewhere that they haven't looked at it in years, so
Right.
they don't know where it is.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And another way to let you know whether or not a mentee can be problematic for you is if that mentee has employees and you observe that mentee treat the employees a certain way, as if they are not valuable, they mean nothing.
Yeah.
You know, they're like a little roach in their organization. And then it's all about their way and no other way, we're going to have a problem with that mentee. So these are all things and I'll give you an example. So I was watching the show last night, The Prophet. So I was watching The Prophet. It's about a pizza place in Chicago somewhere. And this owner, he and his wife and his 4 kids, they run it. And they decide to franchise it out. But they don't have a blueprint for the franchisees to follow. And they have these high expectations. So whenever the franchisees have problems and they come to them and say, hey, we're having this difficulties, we didn't get trained in this area, he goes crazy on them. And then each time that the Prophet asks him a question about, okay, so when was the last time you had a meeting with a group? When was the last time you did this? Oh, I taste your sauce, and here's another sauce, right? You want to taste this other sauce and, kind of compare and say, no, my sauce is good. I don't need to taste that. Those are signs that you could have a problem with this mentee.
Yes.
Because they're not open. They're not willing to listen to anything else. No, they're not coachable.
So you're going to end up wasting your time.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be the first one when they don't see any results.
Yes.
That they're going to be demanding their money back.
Yes.
But they're not open to even learning. So,
yes.
I mean, it's like hitting up against a brick on a wall, and it's just not going to work. So, as a coach, you have to recognize whether people. That's why I say sometimes it's better that they come to you.
Yeah.
Versus you trying to track them down. We have to go out, I think, as coaches to make sure our brand is out there and people are aware of what skill sets we have, and then that word of mouth will bring them in. But you have to kind of, and not all money is good money.
That's
so you
right.
got to know when it's going to work or not.
But you know what's amazing with this particular client? They went out and seek out the Prophet.
Oh, wow.
They went out
and then they weren't willing to.
And they're not willing.
Yeah,
they're not willing.
But that's probably the Prophet was probably not the first person. Time.
Probably not the first. Whenever a mentee does not have an infrastructure, they don't have a system, they don't have a process, and you're giving them hints as to that those things are necessary, and they're going, no, I don't need it. I dealt with this for 30 years. I don't need this. There's a sign that there could be problems.
Like I say, that for me, that's the biggest thing. If they've been doing the same type of business year after year after year,
with the same results,
with the same results, and they don't want to change it,
Yeah.
then they're destructive.
Yeah.
So, let's look at number 45. If you were coaching him right off the bat, and
Yeah.
for me, from an accounting standpoint,
Yeah.
you tell me that it's okay, I'm not going to pay my vendors, and I'm going to go bankrupt as my strategy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and that's a good point right there. If the mentee is very willing to break the laws, break the rules, break compliance regulations easily, as if it's like nothing, that's a sign that this could be a problematic.
It could be a problem because you're going to have a problem with integrity.
You're going to have a problem with ethics and integrity.
And when it comes down to it, when it fails or when they get in trouble, they're going to come back and want to push it back on you.
Oh, yeah.
As you're the person
it's
that
your
didn't
fault.
do. It's your fault. Exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah, you have to, I think, you have to be very much aware of that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very important. One, if you're hiring a coach, you should be just as concerned as what is the testimonies from clients for that coach to make sure that they're qualified to do what they do, right? And one of the things that I know, because I coach, and I'm sure you do as well, when you go and hear other coaches, other coaches speak, and you're going, there's some fluff there.
Yeah.
And or in my case, and I've seen some other people coaching, and we're all coming out of the same circles, or I've seen them at the Power Network, and maybe where they learned their information, I've seen it already from the original, and then I'll go, or here's a new one for coaches, and I think when you're looking to hire a coach, is that if they spend a lot of time on what they've gotten from their coaching practice, like if their whole presentation is on the fact that they're living this lavish life, or anyone, and this would be anybody, a professional that you're going to pay your money, right? And all they're showing you is the results of what they've acquired, their lavish houses, their expensive cars, their lavish vacations. Not the process. You just see the systems. Yeah. You just see that they're doing well, especially from coach to coach. When you're looking for a mentor to take you to the next level, then you have to be very careful. And I think when you, as a average business person, is looking for, you want to make sure that one, that you check out that person's references, and make some phone calls, and see if anybody knows them, to make sure that, and then go see them in action.
That's always a good thing.
Go see them in action, and then the same thing for you. If you're going to take on a client, then go over to their business and kind of tell them you just want to shadow them for the day. No input, no anything. Just let me see how you do business.
I see you have 7 tips here, Crystal, for coaching. So do you want to go over those 7 tips with us?
Let me get to what I
7 key tips in being a coach. Or being coached.
Being coached, yeah. So let me see. Let me find you. I sent that to you, and what's the name this morning, didn't I?
Oh, okay, you did?
I did? No. I'll go here. I'll tell you the 7 reasons why.
Yeah.
You'll get outside of your comfort zone. You'll get personal attention from someone who knows your business inside and out, and you inside and out, and understand.
So these are 7 reasons why you want to be coached.
That's why you want to be coached.
Okay.
Also, it's more of a relationship, right? So I'm learning you as a person as well, because how you are as a person is really translated into how you do business. The other thing is, you'll learn how to make your ideas a reality. I have so many people say, you meet people and they got like, I do this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, okay, but which one are you good at?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to try this. Or they've changed their business 10 times in a 2-year period.
Yeah.
So you kind of see a pattern.
Yeah.
Networking. Now, I come with a whole slew of people behind me.
Yeah.
So when you hire me or hire you, we got connections.
That's right.
That if we have that relationship, we don't have a problem sharing our connections.
Right. That's right.
So your networking opportunities will expand and can possibly skyrocket and get you in the door like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, after we worked with you and gotten you to that place.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to help you make more money.
Yeah.
So that should be your goal and their goal.
Mm-hmm.
Self-confidence. I know a lot of my mentees, when they walk away, they're so much stronger than they were when they came in.
Right. Because they develop competence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I tell my kids students, when they first start pitching, you know, kids do this more than adults, but when they get up and they start telling me about themselves or their business, they start me pulling stuff out there. I'm like, where did did you get that? Yeah. And then it's like this, and then you do this, and then they go off on some other kind of tangent. Like, no.
Yeah.
Get the real knowledge and express what you know, not some stuff that you didn't pull out of cyberspace.
And a good way of really doing that is understanding your value proposition.
Yeah.
You know your value proposition, you can't go wrong because you know what you're bringing to the table to solve the problem or the pain for the client.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So that's it. So that's one. You're going to be held accountable no matter what. If it's going to work, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, we're going to hold you accountable.
So you got to be willing to be held accountable.
Right. And you know that if we ask you to do something, you need to be able to come back and report.
Yeah.
Or we're going to be checking in to see if you actually did that. If we introduced you to someone, and this is a big one. I've introduced people, and they'll say, you sent me so, and you told, because both parties, I'm introducing you to somebody, going to make that introduction on the other side, and they'll go, they never called me. And I was waiting for their call because you asked me to.
Right.
Okay, so you will be held accountable. And then the other thing, I think you will receive, and this is, I think, is important. You'll hear unbiased opinions.
Right. That
is for your benefit.
That's good.
Yeah. So those are the things that that's how you will benefit from a coach.
That's good. And entrepreneurs listening, this is really great tips for you. I know it may be a lot of information being pushed out at you right now, and that's why we have this tape. You can go to YouTube right after this show. Make sure you subscribe. All of you subscribe so you can download this information and use it as your reference point, your reference source, because this coaching approach that we're talking about is really, really valuable for your business.
Yes, it is. All of us should be in business and want to make money.
Oh, yeah. And we have coaches ourselves. You know, you should have coaches as well. You know, every person should be connected to a coach at some point. And if you think about it, most successful people align themselves with coaches.
And actually, most people have more than one coach.
You should
have a financial coach.
Exactly.
You should have your business coach.
Yeah.
You should have your motivational, inspirational coach. You should have your spiritual coach.
Yep.
So some people have 4 and 5.
That's right.
So I just acquired 2. I got one for financial. He's going to teach me how to flip and hold stock.
Yeah.
And then the other one is on how to up my speaking game.
That's what I'm talking about.
Those are my 2 coaches. And then next year, I'm going to be hiring Miss
you're gonna have
Tiana
yours?
Von Johnson as my coach.
Oh, yeah. This is phenomenal. And we're going to implement a lot of this real quickly.
Yeah.
Real quickly. I'm looking at this. I'm going, whoo. You know, we could do this.
Right, exactly. We talk about this stuff ourselves.
We talk about it every day.
Right. It's like physician heal by ourselves, huh?
Yeah. This is great. She got launching a product. This is amazing. She got all of these things right here.
And in her products was not something that she went out, not like your small biz pro.
Right.
She found some wholesale products that were that you could put your own brand on and branded that baby.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I know. Just simple stuff.
She's a hustler, man.
She's a hustler. Look at that. We're already at the top.
We're already at that time.
At that time.
So, Crystal, what do you have going on this coming week?
So, we're teaching. I'm doing the business plan class with the kids, the Biz Camp. our second session. And so we are still looking for professionals to come out and volunteer with the kids. They're amazing. So if you're in marketing, if you're in finance, especially if you're in finance, come on out to work with the kids. An hour or two to volunteer.
Yeah.
And then the kids are going to have a sale day on Saturday. We are hosting our classes, and this has actually been pretty cool, at KIPP Academy at 8500 Figueroa Avenue, Los Angeles, California. And so the kids they're having a sales day next week. So we're going to go down to the garment district and do a wholesale purchasing. We're going to invest $40 into them, and they're going to buy their products, and then they're going to come back on Saturday and they're going to sell their products. So we're going to talk about pricing their products so that they can come back with so they can make a profit. So last class, I think one of the kids made about $200 in profit.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah, so they'll have their sale day. So come on out to our sales day. You're welcome to do that. It's going to be from 10 to 2 on next Saturday, and at KIPP Academy of Opportunity. And then the following week after that, the kids will be graduation next week on the 26th for graduation.
Very good.
So we're doing graduation, I believe, at Southwest College.
So the 26th is Thursday?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Is that Thursday?
Yeah.
And then, so we need judges. So we need judges to come out throughout the day, the morning session to judge our first finalists to get us to the semifinals, and then we need our final judges. We got Norm Nixon coming out to talk to the kids.
Very good. Very good.
Byron Reed from CIT, he's going to be a judge. So
that's great.
Yeah, so we are looking. I've been given a request. We got a number of young men that want to make shoes. So there's a cobbler in the city, in the community. I'm going to go over and see if I can get him to come out and talk to kids.
I'm sure he'll be very happy to come and share his expertise with them.
Yeah. So if there's anybody out there that are interested in sharing, we're creating our next generation of entrepreneurs. And it's so important for us to give that foundation to our children.
Well, we didn't get it when we were growing up, so we got to make sure we create that landscape for them.
Yes,
so that they can be in a better space. Well, for me, next week, Tuesday, the 17th, I'm teaching a workshop. I would call it, I'm giving a presentation on Small Biz Pro at USC.
Oh.
And I gave a pitch at USC a few weeks back, and they love Small Biz Pro. So they want to incorporate it in their School of Business, Marshall School of Business.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, yes. So
that's where I went to school for my entrepreneurial.
Oh, yeah? Marshall School of Business? Yeah, very good. So they're going to incorporate it into their entrepreneurial program there, and I'm very excited about that. So next Tuesday, I'm doing the first presentation of Small Biz Pro, teach them what it is, how it works, get them registered, go through the assessment tools that we have, business readiness, contract readiness, bank loan readiness with them.
Okay.
So that's going to be phenomenal. And then on the 3rd, August 3rd, I'm doing it again.
Okay.
And then after that, I think I'll be aligned with NBC.
Oh.
Yes. So
good job.
They're bringing in NBC with their program.
Okay.
So I've been called in to give a presentation. So very excited about it.
Oh, yeah, you should be. So that's phenomenal.
That's why we got to get the Small Biz Pro in this thing.
I know, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, boy. The branding is important.
That's it. So I'm very excited about it, but I'll definitely keep you posted and let you know. It's a great thing. USC, they love it.
Oh,
they love what they've seen in it. So
right. That's fantastic. No, that is thrilling because you've worked very hard on this.
Very hard to get it in front of small businesses and contract providers. So this is great.
And again, this is part of that thinking in units and bigger.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we got to take it, as much as we love our community, sometimes you have to kind of go outside in order to bring in, and then you come back and give. Or do it like I do. I make sure I'm never guilty about that part because I give it where I want to give.
Right.
And then I'm serving at the same time.
That's what I'm talking about.
So right now, it's about making the cheddar.
So
we need to get paid for what we do.
That's what I'm talking
so we
about.
have to put our nonprofit hat back there.
It's nice to be Santa Claus sometimes, but not all the time.
Right, exactly. And we're just too talented, and we put too much time and energy and work into building and acquiring the knowledge that we have.
Exactly.
And we need to be compensated for that.
That's for sure.
Our expertise.
And entrepreneurs, keep on listening. Keep on tuning to the Business Zone every Friday from 3 to 5 on morrismedialive.com. Also go to our YouTube page at
The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We have our own unique title now, URL, because we have reached 107 subscribers. So keep growing, keep subscribing, and we will see you guys next week.
That's right. And you've been watching the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. See you next week. We're out.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement, yes, I'm ready to go. Got my balance sheet, my P&L, my statement of cash flow. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah.